I think one of the things that really touched me about Dignity was when we saw a family and clearly the children hadn't had an opportunity to take a shower. And if you know kids, they usually don't like to take a shower. You always have to fight with them. And then when I saw them and I said, hey, would you like an opportunity to take a shower? And the mom's face just lit up and the kids went like, oh my God, I get to have a shower. I get to have clean clothes. These are the things that we take for granted every day. Most people don't have to worry about those things, but I think that moment, seeing the joy on the kid's face to having clean clothes and being able to take a safe shower and seeing mom have a sense of relief, that is the kind of things that restore dignity that's so important.
Poverello House's work started way back in 1973 through one man who we call Papa Mike, or Michael McGarvin. Mike McGarvin was a homeless drug addict in downtown San Francisco until he came across a Franciscan monk who invested in him. And through that journey and a journey of faith, he found his way off of drugs and into a lifestyle of serving others. Mike ended up moving to Fresno from San Francisco. He got married here and was working at the Fresno B building. And when he would get off of work, he would see people out on the street. And he, of course, missed serving people, and that just begun with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. He made as many sandwiches as he could, and he just went and handed them out. Well, he did it the next night, and the next night, and the next night. And that work just continued, and it resonated so deeply with our community that people saw him and said, how do we help what you're doing? And really, the first Poverello House was out of a van. And that became Poverello House. So he would go around with chili beans and he would give them out to the people on the streets. But it was more than just feeding people's bellies. It was about feeding their souls. And that was something that was crucial to the roots of who we are as an organization.
For me, I always like to emphasize the idea of treating our guests as people, because the unfortunate reality is with a lot of the homeless population, when they come here for services, it's the only time they actually get seen as people. And so for us, treating them with dignity just means that actually treating them with the same amount of respect you'd see anybody else basically driving down the street or walking across on your way to work. So for instance, in our cafe, that means giving them a variety of different options they can choose from, not just giving out one standard meal that we're having everybody. That way they get to customize to their own taste and dietary options. It means our servers treating them with hospitality and kindness. For helping here in the clothing closet, it means taking into account any specific style or color preferences that they have. We're not just gonna give them something random. If they have a specific preference for what they like to wear, we're gonna try to match it if possible. That way they get to sort of have the same sort of experience that anybody else who's going shopping for clothing or going to a nice restaurant to eat will get to have as well.
When I first arrived at Poverello House, we of course fed people every single day. However, it was whatever we had that day, whatever we could come up with. We did our best to provide a quality meal to every person who came. However, about once every couple of months, we would have something special that was called Papa Mike's Cafe. It was an event that we held, and our chef would prepare an elevated menu. People could pick what they wanted. We even had multiple courses. It was a beautiful experience for our guests. And the very first one that I went to, I was handed a note by somebody who was at table 4 that said, "Thanks, it's nice to feel normal." And it was that moment for me that I want to do something different. I want to provide Papa Mike's Cafe every single day at Poverello House. And that began the journey. There were a few major problems. First and foremost, we had a 30-year-old kitchen that was falling apart. So we needed a new kitchen. Well, it ended up being about $3 million is what was needed to complete the project. That might as well be $20 million for Poverello House. We don't typically raise money of that magnitude. However, as I was trying to figure out with my team, I was at a lunch with somebody and was sharing this vision. And he said, "Hey, let me make a call really quick." So he calls up one person, and this person ended up securing $2.5 million for the kitchen project in one phone call. That person was Steve Brandow, who was a Fresno County supervisor at the time, and he championed this project all the way through. And so just over 2 years ago now, we were able to open Papa Mike's Cafe, which is a full-service, no-cost restaurant for anybody in need. And our tagline is, where dignity is the main course. Because a major part of dignity is that people get to choose what they want. Another beautiful program that we have here at Poverello House is Naomi's House. Naomi's House is actually a name that comes from the Bible. A woman named Naomi brought her daughter-in-law to be with her, and her daughter-in-law said, "Wherever your house is will be my house." And it comes from that story, because our house, we want it to be the house of everyone who is in need in our community. It is a women's only shelter, and is the only one like it in the entire county of Fresno. We have 34 beds in the shelter, and the women that we see at the shelter, some of them are escaping domestic violence. Some of them are escaping relationships that ended poorly. In 2025, 91 women ended their homelessness permanently through the work of Naomi's House.
No, I don't believe anybody wants to be homeless. I think that is something that people sometimes accept, but we have to change that narrative and make sure that there are the services that are there that will help them drive them forward. And here at Poverello House, we really don't offer a hand out, but a hand up. And we walk alongside of you. We don't push you or drag you. You walk together, because everybody has some type of talent. It's just trying to tap that talent with dignity, with services that restore that, so they can now want more for themselves.
I will tell you that one of the main frontline ways that people need help to end their homelessness is by generating an income, by getting a job. A job is really what cuts through so much of the challenge that we face. And so the grant that's coming from Golden One is ultimately a workforce grant. It's about giving people experience, it's about giving people marketable certifications, marketable skills, so that they can go out and actually get a job. And so Golden One's investment into people's futures through helping them get gainful employment here in our community has a transformational impact in the lives of individuals, and we're so thrilled to partner with Golden One.
We believe strong communities start with access to opportunity. That's why we're proud to invest $20,000 through our community grant program to support Poverello House and its workforce development initiatives. Together, we're helping young adults build the skills they need for long-term success. Through hands-on service, professional certifications, mentorship, and career experience, young people at Poverello House can form pathways to stability and strengthen their community.
I always just want to show my gratitude to this incredible community that makes this work possible. Without the good people who write a check every single month, who come down and give hours of their time, without people bringing their clothes down to share with others, this work would no longer exist. It would have died long ago with Papa Mike and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but it is this community that has kept this work going and allowed us to help more people than we have ever helped in our entire 50-year plus history. So I just want to say thank you from me and for everyone at Poverello House to the incredible people in this community who make this work possible every day.